What is up, guys? It's your boy, Newscast Cactus, reporting live from the scene, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, what is going on in-game this week? Well, honestly, a lot of stuff. Like, the TWAB is actually pretty small this week. The majority of news is happening outside it. And by far the biggest thing to happen this week was on the Tuesday weekly reset, we had the massive mid-season update. And this affected quite a few things. The Crucible, as you can see right here, moving on from there, Vanguard Ops, then Raids and Dungeons, pause if you want to read all of them, but by far the most notable changes were to weaponry. So first of all, some weapon archetypes were affected, as you can see right here, like the Akilos SMG was supposed to receive a bit of a nerf, fusion rifles get a PvP buff, trace rifles a buff targeted towards PvP, rapid fire snipers get a whole lot more ammo, and then we got some heavy grenade launcher fixes. But then what is really causing a lot of people to get excited is that a bunch of primary weapons got massive buffs to their damage for PvE. You can see them right here. I did do a couple of videos talking about some great legendary weapons in these archetypes, like legendary auto rifles, legendary hand cannons to try out after this buff, and some of them, especially the auto rifles, are performing quite a bit better. So that's all very exciting. However, as soon as this update went live, a lot of people started reporting what they called at the time glitches. Builds felt a lot weaker and weren't functioning correctly. People looked further into it, and it turned out armor mods were not doing what they were supposed to do. So a lot of people were tweeting about this. There was massive lists of all the things that were quote-unquote broken with this update. And these days, that is pretty common. People joke that the Bungie updates break more than they fix. I wouldn't go that far, but certainly there are usually things that unintentionally get affected by these updates that later on do have to be addressed and fixed. So everyone was just saying, okay, these are the things that got broken. Hopefully Bungie can fix them soon. But then a huge plot twist happened. Bungie whipped out the Uno reverse card and said, no, they're not glitches, they're features. So I already kind of made a tweet at their expense saying, no, these things are all intentional. We didn't break them. 100% we meant to do them. But apparently that's the case. Bungie is actually saying that all of these things that, again, people thought were glitches, the builds not functioning properly, mods not working properly, they were actual intentional fixes and nerfs on Bungie's part, and they simply forgot to include all of these things in the original patch notes. They are now included as an addendum, so if you go to them now, you'll see them, but there was a long period of time where they weren't in there. So, here are the other big changes from the mid-season update. When Ashes to Assets and Hands-On are equipped, players will only receive super energy from one of the mods, not both. Then, when Firepower and Heavy-Handed are equipped, players will only spawn one Orb of Power, not two, when killing an enemy with a grapple melee. Then, Grenade Kickstart will no longer activate when grappling to a grapple point, and thus not expending any grenade energy. Then, we have reduced super gains from Ashes to Assets when getting a grapple melee kill after grappling to a grapple point, and thus not expending any grenade energy by 50%. Previously, this varied from 1% to 5% depending on the target tier. With this change, it's now 0.5 to 0.25. Moving on from there, players no longer need to have the Strand subclass equipped to gain unraveling rounds for their Strand weapons. Actually a good change. Heavy weapons will more consistently gain increased ammo capacity. Then they fixed an issue where Fighting Lion was incorrectly benefiting from the Void Holster mod. The Harsh Language Shotgun now correctly activates Void Artifact perks. They fixed an issue where certain Gambit weapons were not contributing to the Dark Age Arsenal Triumph. Then crafting progress now comes from the key chest and not the base chest, and Warlock exotic swarmers will now correctly create threadlings when a tangle is thrown and a player has a shackle grenade equipped. And the last two things, Hunter Armor Thunderhead Grips can now correctly have its appearance unlocked with Synthweave, and fall damage is now non-lethal to players. Previously, only collision damage was non-lethal, so you can fall as long as you want and you will not die. So, as a result of this announcement, people were not happy. You can see in the first tweet of the thread, look at the quote tweets to the retweets ratio. That tells you things are not going well. People do not quote tweet often to say, great changes, Bungie. They're quote tweeting to absolutely roast them and say how much they hate it. Because, you know, people wanted Ashes to Assets to work and hands-on to work at the same time. It feels like a lot of these things were nerfs to popular and fun builds. Specifically, the grappling build got hit pretty hard here, like in a couple of different changes. And again, people are saying, why is the grappling build nerfed before the Well of Radiance Starfire Protocol build, for goodness sakes? So that's a whole separate topic. It's also very interesting that all of these main nerfs that people wouldn't like were like missed out of the main patch notes originally, and Bungie never talked about these leading up to this mid-season update. And so obviously the speculation is, oh, don't talk about it, forget to put it in the patch notes, and then just kind of tweet it out later to sweep it under the rug so less people will see these changes. I don't exactly think so, but I do think that Bungie, you can't forget half of the patch notes and then have to tweet them out later. Like, you guys gotta make sure everything is ready to go so players are informed about these things and not just spending the whole day thinking that their build is broken. And if they're not going on Twitter, if they're not watching, you know, my or someone else's video, they might never know. They might just assume that it's a glitch or that their build is suddenly not working properly, which is definitely unfair to them. But guys, let's move on from there to the brand new information within the TWAB. So, first of all, the first community voted weapon ornament is coming to Destiny. So with the launch of Season 21, next season, Season of the Deep, they're releasing an Arbalist ornament that you can see right here. Shout out to Stellar State Logic who made this. And again, there was 3 designs. The community voted on one, and then this is the one coming next season. So there's actually going to be another exotic weapon ornament vote. So here are the 3 weapons to choose from. We have the Witherhoard, we have the Thunderlord, and we have the Izanagi's Burden. So here's what's happening. Starting on April 20th, which is today, the community votes through email on what exotic to pick. So you have to have like Bungie emails turned on. They'll send you an email and you say, oh, I want the Witherhoard. Then the community artist creates 3 ornament concepts for whatever of the 3 exotics win the vote. And then the community votes on their favorite of the different concepts, and the winning weapon ornament goes into production and is released in-game. Moving on from there, the last week of Iron Banner is going to start with the next reset. So again, that's the last one for Season of Defiance, so make sure to, if you want your seal, grab that, get the weapons you want, etc. And so guys, there you have it. Like I said, super small TWAB. Shout out to Bungie for creating all of the patch note drama so I'd have something to talk about. But that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.